Hey, good morning, everybody. Nothing seems to call these cows in quite like the bang of that trip hopper door. I'm really liking this unit. I purchased it used a couple years ago. This is the first winter using it, but I like it. The girls like it. What's not to like? Originally, it was purchased to fill these troughs, and I think it's going to work out great for that. I never really thought about using it out on the ground in the pasture until this winter when hay supplies were starting to run short and we needed a way to stretch it out. So I started feeding these pellets out there middle of March. Now this seems to be a really well-built unit by some fellas down in Texas that wanted a better way to feed their cows. It's powered by a 12-volt constant duty motor with a 90-degree gear-reducing gearbox that runs everything pretty slow, so I'm thinking it might last almost forever. This one that I have is a 1,500-pound model, and those are 2,000 pounds in each one of those totes, and I can't quite get an entire tote into the box. In this shot here, you can see we've got the pink bucket up there, and it took 55 of those to fill that level full. And I think there's about 1,800 pounds in there. I really prefer it if I can fill it with a mechanical means. So after a couple of days of filling out of those totes, I put the dry box on the trailer and went to town and filled it up, and then I can run it out with a little gas motor. It takes 5 minutes to fill that way instead of half an hour, and you're not nearly as tired at the end of it. Well, this is our first time using this. I'm setting the door so it'll make 8-pound piles, and it seems to be fairly accurate. The way this box was designed, it comes with everything to hardwire this into your pickup, including a switch and a counter to put on the dash. And I bet it would work great in that application. I wanted mine mounted on a trailer because I want to be able to use it with multiple things, and I much prefer to pull it with a tractor when I'm feeding rather than taking a pickup out and getting my fenders bent and my grill smashed, which seems to be pretty common when you're operating around cows. Now for this winter, I'm just hooking up the battery every day to turn this thing on, which is a little less than ideal. And when I talked with Roger down at T&S Trip Hoppers, he said that they now have a wireless remote set up to turn this thing on and off. And so I'm sure that before next year, that's going to be a much needed addition. That would make it so it doesn't matter which tractor I hitch it onto, or even if I wanted to hitch it onto the pickup, all I got to do is take the remote control with me, and I can turn it on, turn it off whenever I want to. When I'm filling the troughs, it should be a lot better, because if you come to the end of one, you could shut it off and move on. You less risk a spillage that way. Now I'm powering this off of a 12-volt marine type deep cycle battery. And on a single charge, a Group 24 battery will run that box out multiple times. So you could put a solar charger on it if you were leaving it parked outside, or I just plug it into a 10 amp charger once a week, and it seems to be working really well. Now the one concern that I had in using this box, especially out here on the ground, is wastage. And what I found was in really cold dry snow, and it was probably 20 degrees out there that morning, the cows come through and they clean up every bit of it. They'll lick all the snow up and everything to make sure they get all of it. And if we feed in that environment, or we feed on some good dry sod, it works really well. If you let the snow get soupy, then, or you feed into a puddle or something, then those pellets turn into mush and you do get a little bit of waste. So overall, I'd say it's a pretty viable system to use for stretching out the hay supply. Being that this was the first day out, the cows were still trying to figure this all out, and they didn't really follow the tractor all the way to the end. So while I was waiting for them to catch up with me, I parked down at the other end for a while, and I noticed one cow off by herself, and I got this little surprise. This, folks, is what makes it all worthwhile. God bless everyone. Try to get your feet under yourselves. This little guy made it up, but not before my phone battery went dead. So I'm going to leave you with that, and hope you're having a great day.